Spring is slowly weaving its way into the landscape here on our Vermont homestead. Our greenhouse shelves are overflowing with seedlings, patiently awaiting their turn to be planted out into the garden, while flowers and terracotta pots slowly bring new life into the space for the season ahead. Today, I am taking you along for a little greenhouse tour, and I will also be sharing a few simple things I like to make with dandelion blossoms. Welcome to my greenhouse, a peaceful little refuge that is so dear to my heart. It is a place where I tend to the plants, enjoy the quiet rhythm of the season, linger over a book, and delight in the beauty growing all around me. Most of her seeds came from a local Vermont company called High Mowing Seeds. Right over here on the first shelf, I have a tray of double yield cukes and Market More slicing cucumbers. In the second tray, I have New England pumpkin and blacktail mountain watermelon. And over here, I have African marigold, which can grow up to 3 feet tall. On the first tray of the second shelf, I have a hodgepodge of things. First, I sowed some holy basil, some chamomile, both will be used for tea, some lemon basil, Prospera basil for pesto, and 2 blue flowers, nigella and bachelor's button. On the next tray, I have 2 kinds of peppers. The first one is called orange picnic pepper, which is a snacking size orange bell pepper. I also have some jalapeno peppers, and hiding there is a little bit of thyme, and I have also a little bit of rudbeckia. And next to the black-eyed Susan, I have Rutgers tomatoes and more African marigolds. Over here on the third shelf, I planted over 100 zinnias, a mix of yellow and County Fair blend zinnias. And over here, I have more marigold flowers and San Marzano paste tomatoes, which I will be using for canning. And on the bottom shelf, I have Mountain Princess tomatoes, marigolds, and Sweetie cherry tomatoes. This spring, I added a few vintage and antique touches to the greenhouse, which has made the space feel especially cozy and inviting. In this vintage dresser, I am keeping a few of her gardening tools and extra seedling trays and plant pots. And on top of the dresser, I have a display of terracotta pots with bright pink geraniums, holy basil, cast iron candlestick holders, marigold, and rudbeckia. And in this very old wooden green box, I am keeping all of her potting soil and fertilizer. And on the other side of the greenhouse, I have a potting bench and a rocking chair. On the potting table, I have marigolds and pansies, and on the bottom shelves, I have tomato plants, a mix of peace vine, cherry tomatoes, and rose de Berne. On the upper shelf of the potting table, I have more pansies, an antique match holder where I keep my plant tags, some twine and antique scissors, and little terracotta pots filled with marigold and bachelor's button. I also added a rug to the greenhouse last week, and I feel like that final little touch truly brought the whole space together, making it feel cozier and more inviting. I grew up in Montreal, where tidy lawns were carefully maintained and dandelions were seen as something undesirable. But after nearly 20 years of living on a Vermont homestead, I've come to see them very differently. Each spring, our fields glow yellow with dandelions, offering one of the first important food sources for pollinators after a long winter. Their deep roots nourish the soil, and every part of the plant has long been valued for its nutritional and herbal benefits. What once looked like weeds to me now feels like a cherished gift from nature. The other day, I had a few quiet moments to gather some dandelion blossoms and turn them into simple infused honey and herbal vinegar. After gently washing the blossoms and letting them dry on a rack, I simply placed them into jars and poured raw honey over one batch and apple cider vinegar over the other. The honey is delicious stirred into tea or drizzled over warm toast, while the vinegar can be used in homemade vinaigrettes or even as a nourishing herbal hair rinse.